So we've turned it around, got it held in the chuck. What we're going to do now is turn it on and turn the speed down. Yes, you can see that the piece is running out. That doesn't concern me. We're going to do a truing up cut here with a small bowl gouge. The reason I'm using a small bowl gouge is because it's going to give me a smaller cut with more control. I don't need the big gouge to make this cut here. You could use it, it would work. I'm going to put my hand over the top, and that bevel is going to follow the outside profile, and we're going to make a cut down to there. It's too slow at the moment, so we're going to turn the speed up. Then we're going to move the tool rest to the front here, cut this waste wood, and then start to hollow the inside. And we're going to turn the inside to the same shape and thickness as the outside. Okay, so the thickness will be about, I don't know, around about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch thick. We'll also true this section up as well. I'll use the big gouge and do a draw cut. I am more concerned that it's well held in the chuck. I don't want to have this set off square. Some guys have said to me, Jimmy, bring the tailstock up and put it in the end there, then tighten it up. It doesn't matter. That wood, if it wants to spring, if you've got tension where the chuck's gripping, if there's tension there, when you remove the tailstock, it'll just spring to wherever it wants to be anyway. So I prefer to do it this way, freehand. We're going to have to hollow it out with any support anyway, so we might as well start to feel what these cuts are going to be like. Oh, there we go, much nicer speed. A bit too fast, turn it down, there we go, perfect. Okay, that last cut that you just heard the tool move slightly, it was the overhang. That cut there is nice and clean. Too much overhang on that tool, so we're going to finish it off with the bigger gouge. Rest the bevel, just take that cut up. There we go, that's nice and true. We'll true this up. And then the draw cut across here. So everything's well held in the chuck. We've got the nice outside shape. Everything's running true. Now we can start to hollow it out. And that is a decent finish from the tool. That's not going to take a lot of sanding. Okay, so we're going to move the tool rest around to the front and start the hollowing. Okay, actually, just before we turn it around, it's dry here in Vegas. I'm going to spray it with water. That's going to do two things. It's going to show me what the grain and the figure looks like when the whole piece is finished. That's gorgeous. That's that definition. Really, really nice. And with the natural edge there, beautiful. So, when that's sanded, finished, oiled, that's what it's going to look like. The other reason for spraying it is because as I'm turning this, I'm releasing tension and stress and moisture. It's losing moisture, so I'm replacing, it's wet wood, it was cut down a few moments ago. So all I'm doing is replacing the moisture with the moisture that's losing. When I start to hollow the inside, what we're going to do, now we're going to do it, turn the tool rest around, put it here, start the hollowing. When I'm going to hollow all the inside to the same shape, down to there, okay, same shape and thickness, then I'm going to do the return cuts into the middle. I want a nice ogee shape on this. When I've hollowed the inside, I'm going to sand and totally finish the inside. As I'm turning it, once I've got into hollow, I'm going to be spraying water on the inside. It has to permeate, it can't come out the front, it has to permeate through the sides of the piece. Therefore, you replace the water that the piece is losing, and it stabilizes it. It makes it easier to turn. And plus it could split, it's so dry here. So putting the moisture in, that does two things for me. Shows me what the piece is going to finish like, and keeps the thing moist and wet so that it's not going to split on me. Okay, and even thickness makes a difference as well. Right, now we'll move the tool rest. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to remove this waste wood here where the 4-prong drive was. And then we're going to do the hollowing. This bevel, when we're doing the hollowing, this bevel has to follow the outside profile. If, I'm going to give you a heads up here, if you get this wrong, the place you'll get it wrong is when you're turning the inside. You will not be checking the wall thickness. That bevel won't be following the outside profile. You'll have the bevel too much this way and you'll cut through the side. That's where you'll err. If you're going to get it wrong, that's where you'll get it wrong. If it's too thick, you can always take wood off. So, stop and check, so important. And try and keep the wall thickness even. That'll make a huge difference to whether it splits or not. If it's thin here, say an eighth of an inch there, and a quarter of an inch thick down at the base, the thinner wood dries and moves quicker than the thick wood, creates stresses and pulls and splits the wood. If we turn this in even thickness, everything dries at the same rate. So, we'll get rid of this first, and then we're going to start the hollowing. Little quarter bowl gouge, small careful cut. You're better off taking 1,000 small cuts and getting it right than 1 or 2 big ones, getting a catch and getting it wrong. Step on those cuts, that's why I'm getting a cone. Then I can come back to here, take the middle away. Lovely little tool that, little quarter bowl gouge. Okay, I'm going to do 1 cut across the face here, just to true everything up. Lovely. Right, okay. Stop for 1 moment. Okay, first cut we're going to make is there. We're not going to come right to this edge. If we come right to this edge and you get it wrong and you bugger up the edge, there's nothing you can do. You've got it, in fact, the whole thing's done. Okay, it would have to be a non-natural edged vase. The natural edge looks nice on this. So, if we make a cut here, we can work back and make this the thickness we want, because you've cleared the wood in front of the next cut. And then so on and so forth, and we take this down a step at a time on the outside. Close the flute to pick this cut up. If you have it too open, it'll scoot back at you. Let the tool feed in at the pace it wants to cut. Make sure it's sharp as well. Come back to here. Just going to stop it because there's one more thing I want to explain. At this point here, a lot of guys leave a flat there. They're worried to come right up to the edge. You're just turning something parallel to the outside. Irrespective that this isn't perfectly round, take no notice of that. Come right up to your bark and the bevel should be parallel to the outside curve, and you'll end up with a perfect natural edge. Let's take some of this away. Again, just step on those cuts. Pick this cut up here. And we're going to turn the speed up a little and get that a little faster now. There we go. I'm going to do one more finishing cut. We'll get this down to about a 1/16 of an inch thick. Very critical now, hold the tool quite firmly, but let it flow and have that bevel parallel to the outside. There we go, stop short, do not catch this wing here. Do not catch that wing there. Again, it'll give you a shock and whatever else. But, so there we go. You can sometimes tell, if I get this light, you can sometimes tell how thick something is by the amount of light that shines through. You can see it's shining through much easier on the sapwood. When we get to the hardwood, it's not making a difference. But that there can give you some indication of how thick you are. Okay, so we're going to switch it on again and continue hollowing. You can hear it ticking. That's as it's cutting through different densities of wood there. Remember, the heart's in there somewhere. Just feel that? Yeah, that's the right thickness. Now, I'm going to start to take the middle out. I'm going to use the small gouge, the small quarter gouge with a standard English grind. The wings aren't cut back, just a standard grind. Drop it in the jig, the arm, and just roll it around. Lovely size tool, lovely tool for doing this. I'll start to use the largest tool, the 1/2 inch, 3/8 1/2 inch bowl gouge. As I get deeper, as the overhang gets more, I'll need a bigger tool with more integrity. This will start to flex and screech. Very dense wood this, slow growing in Vegas, very, very dense. Apricot, beautiful but dense, even wet. Further I get in, I'm able to take slightly heavier cuts. I'm getting closer to the chuck. Just gauge that yourself. Just feather the bevel here. That was getting a heavy cut, so I just stopped, I just backed off. Take that bit there, and now do a finishing cut. That small tool's starting to flex a little bit. I'll tell you what, we'll stop the lathe and move the tool rest at a slight angle further into there. That'll decrease the amount of overhang. Okay, there we'll go. Be careful, turn the piece around. Be careful the underside of the tool rest doesn't catch on the piece itself and destroy what you've done. So that's got that a lot closer. Nice even wall thickness here. I'm going to do one last thing before we go any further to finish that ready for sanding, as I'm going to use the wing of a spindle gouge right on its edge, and we're going to shear scrape that. It's end grain. Sharpen the tool up and you'll be amazed the finish you'll get. The flute is closed right down. You're shear scraping with the bottom wing. It's acting like a cabinet scraper. You'll get a beautiful finish there. So let's get the cabinet scraper. What I'm going to do is use a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. I'm going to turn it on its edge. It's that bottom wing that I'm using. Hand over the top, tool tucked into your body, and I'm going to move my whole body, and we're just going to shear scrape, and that'll give me a beautiful finish ready for sanding. Just let that speed up. Very gently across there. There we go. Let's just stop that, have a look. Again, do not have it open, have it trailing. Excellent. That would take very, very little finishing, or sanding, sorry. So, we're going to go to the next stage now. I'm halfway down the profile that we saw from this angle. Nice even thickness. I'm just going to continue on and take it down to the curve that I've got, the finish curve on the outside. Then we're going to start to head towards the middle. This tool's starting to flex now. I can feel it flexing. We're going to move up to the 3/8 English, 1/2 inch American bowl gouge. It's a long grind gouge. Still only cutting with the tip of the heel, not the wing, just the tip. Just make sure that wing doesn't catch. Let's just test the thickness. Yeah, we can take a little bit more off there. I'm going to use the small gouge for that. It's close enough to the chuck. It's to the tool rest, sorry. It's a small cut. There's that bevel. There we go. Just pick that cut up. That's as far as I can go with that. Spindle gouge on its side. Let's shear scrape this bit here, blend it into that bit there. Beautiful. We have to get that bit right. If you don't get it right, as we take the middle out, the wood's going to move and there's no way you can come back to this. Get it right in stages as you're going down. So from there to there, that's ready for sanding. Let's take the rest of the middle out. Had the flute just a touch open there. There we go, that's better. Too heavy a cut at the middle, too fast a feed. Go a little slower. There we go. Adjust the feed of the tool. It should slow down towards the middle. The middle's not running as fast as the peripheral speed. Nice, small, careful cut. Let's stop that and have a look. Again, ideal. Look at that, the heart's off centre. There's the centre, the heart's off centre there, so it's not going to interfere with the stem. Needs a little bit more out of this section. We can go deeper here, so it's thickening up in that section there. So I'm going to take some off there, continue to go deeper. I'm going to spray it with water. I want to see what it looks like, and 2, that's going to help it from drying out. Wow, that is going to be really, really pretty. That's what it's going to look like when it's sanded and oiled. Now, oil is going to slow down the drying process and help to stop it from splitting. It's a good finish. Give it several coats, you can make it as shiny as you want. That's gorgeous. Right, let's just spin that and continue taking the middle out. A little bit off the side wall we needed. Feather the bevel, push the handle away from you, put the tip of the tool in. Just pick that cut up. And we're going to start to sweep it towards the middle. If you feel you're losing control, just stop, reposition, and then pick the cut up. Remember, the bevel, that bevel there, must be in contact with the wood all the time. If you come off the bevel and you're cutting with the tip of the tool, you'll put lines in there and the tool will want to scoot back. You will not have the control. Take that nicely through to the middle. I'm doing the return curve on the OG now. Another cut from here. There we go. Just ease that to the middle. And we should have a nice smoother surface. You can tell when you're cutting. Absolutely. Not a line on there. Okay, I'm happy with the thickness here. Just a little bit of shear scraping. Whoop, drop the tool. Okay, a little bit of shear scraping in there. Close it down, use the wing. Just blend that in nicely. Just watching. I want to see that line, that single fine line disappear. And then I know it's blended in at that point. There we go. Excellent, excellent. Okay, wonderful. Right, I'm going to spray it with water again. Beautiful. Okay, that is going to take very, very little sanding. So what I'm going to do now is wet sand the inside. I'm happy with the shape. I'm going to wet sand the inside, oil it up, Danish oil, Watco oil, teak oil, any of them will work. And then we're going to go to the outside and turn the outside to the same profile and shape as the inside and make it a nice even thickness.